The gloves have finally come off, this time in a very apparent way. Whoever said only small children have hissy fits or throw tantrums was obviously wrong, because it seems that huge motorcycling companies enjoy the small pleasures in life as well. It all started back when Indian launched their new Challenger and targeted it directly at Harley Davidson's Road Glide. The Challenger is not only a more modern bike teeming with electronic gadgets, but it's also more powerful than the Road Glide, and Indian obviously thought people weren't getting the message. It just wasn't getting through that on American soil there was a more powerful bike than the king, the one and only, the Road Glide, the one everyone has, or so I hear. So this is what they did next. Indian organized a head-to-head challenge between the Challenger and the Road Glide Special, obviously on their own turf and with their own rules and referees. First, they had both bikes tow a food truck to test the torque output of both bikes. Obviously, the Challenger won by 3 whole seconds. Whoop-de-doo, Dave. Then they had the bikes compete in what Americans truly enjoy the most: drag racing. Surprise, surprise here, the Challenger completed the 8th mile faster by another whopping 0.9 seconds. Victory! Obviously, both almost useless tests, since they don't actually say much about the enjoyment you have when riding the motorcycle. If I wanted a very fast vehicle, I would get an F1 car. And if I wanted to tow food trucks around, I would get, oh hold on, what's that called? Oh, a tow truck. But the story doesn't end here. Harley wouldn't take this sitting down, so they resorted to pettiness. Did you spend your youth dreaming of owning a Polaris? That's what they, I want to say that's what they came up with, but no, that's just what they copied. More on that later. Indian being owned by Polaris is somehow joke material. Then they probably refer to the electronics of the Challenger as gimmicks, like ABS, cornering ABS. Then they go ahead and pride themselves with a large dealer network, and then employ some sort of irony regarding the tow challenge by saying they've been carrying Indian's weight for a long time. It's good to note that Harley hasn't officially owned up to this being part of their official marketing plan, and if that image looks familiar to you, it's because Porsche used to make the same kind of adverts back in the day. Here they are taking a shot at the Japanese. Porsche used to make a lot of great ads in the 70s and 80s before advertising got regulated and boring. Now, we all agree that Italian motorcycles have some of the most beautiful designs out there, but have you ever wanted one so badly that you burrowed through the wall of a dealership in order to get one? This is exactly what a gang of thieves managed to pull off in a Ducati dealership in the UK. They disabled the security cameras outside the dealership, then proceeded to make a hole in the wall and dragged through a $45,000 Panigale V4R. They chose that spot well, since it was under a staircase, in a camera blind spot, and it seems Lady Luck was with them, because the Panigale was only recently moved to that spot near the staircase. For a long time, another unspecified bike, worth about a third of the price, was parked in the staircase blind spot heaven. The owner of the dealership was contacted by other motorcycle dealerships after posting the incident on social media to say they were also hit in exactly the same way. What kind of world is this, Dave, where we live in when not even walls and ceilings can protect our motorcycles against thieves? Electrified walls. Now, that's an idea. Get on that, Dave. Just Google it. Electrified wall. Maybe we can do something here. The dealership patched up the wall and put up a beefy multi-strada to stand guard in case those clever thieves decide to return again. Sticking with Indian, the Appaloosa, this is so satisfying to say, Appaloosa, a drag bike created by a maniac by the name of Bryce Hennebert, was once an Indian Scout bobber, but has been heavily modified for pure unadulterated speed. From right about now to March the 1st, it will be racing at the 2020 Baikal Mile, trying to beat the current world record, which stands at about 250 or so kilometers per hour or 155 miles. This is on ice. Riding on ice, it's obviously very different than riding on tarmac, so the bike had to be specially prepared. The hundreds of studs in the tires are inserted by hand, and it took the mechanics 4 days to get that finished. The fairings were changed as well in order for the ice chips that come flying from the tire studs to not injure the rider. And obviously the Appaloosa, so great, is equipped with NOS, because we all know from the Fast and the Furious that you can't win a race without NOS. So good luck to them and to everyone that's reaching for that record. So basically the good lucks just cancel themselves out? Well, that's it for today, everyone. Drop us a comment regarding any of the stories we've mentioned today. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming a patron to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.